I've got bad news. Today, I'm on the Emirates A380 in business class for the first time ever, flying from Seoul to Dubai. Why is that bad news? Because some of you really won't like hearing what I have to say about it, I'm afraid. Emirates has so much hype around it. People seem to absolutely love it, especially the A380. Well, I found a great fare from Seoul to Stockholm with Emirates, and I'm putting this product to the test. Let's go flying. Welcome to Seoul Incheon Airport, where I've just flown in from Osaka on Asiana's last remaining 747-400. If you haven't seen that video yet, here's a link up top to go check it out.
Alright, cleared immigration in South Korea. It's kind of a shame I'm not staying here for a night or two just to go eat all the Korean food, but gotta now get my bag, go outside, check it back in with Emirates for the long haul back to Dubai and then Stockholm. If there's anything I can do here before re-clearing immigration, going to the sterile area, going airside, kind of depends on my energy as well. Kind of tempting to just go to the lounge, as much as a bibimbap out there in Incheon sounds kind of interesting too.
Meanwhile, I'm so mesmerized by this insanely high-definition screen in the check-in area that I might end up missing my flight. Anyway, as far as I could tell, there is no fast-track or expedited security channel for business class passengers at Incheon. There may be one that only certain people qualify for. I've read something about that, so if anyone wants to shed light in the comments, I'd be eager to hear. But it is not available to Emirates business class or elites in any case, so I ended up in quite a long, sweaty line to get through.
That's a first for me, I think, in Asia to see no priority line. Am I wrong? Maybe there are others. But that led to the first kind of queuing, hold-up frustration of the day, where I was in there for probably 20-25 minutes. I mean, it's handled pretty efficiently considering the number of people, but it's warm in there. People's heat coming together, holding the bag on my back, it just starts to get not nice. So the first annoying thing of the day, but considering all the steps involved in this travel, I guess I should be expecting at least a couple. Try to be positive, optimistic, and not complain too much. That's something I'm working on. I tend to complain about every little thing, but not in a way that's like I thought I was entitled to a better thing, but you know, I consider myself a reviewer, a critic, and that's part of what I offer. So I'm always looking out for what could be done better, what wasn't quite right, or what was really not right. But it can come across a little bit negative at times. So anyway, gonna make my way over to the Asiana lounge, which Emirates uses here. Psyched for the A380.
The Asiana Business Lounge, which is what you'll have access to in Emirates Business Class, is fine, forgettable maybe, but not bad at all. I got some work done here for a couple of hours and then moved on.
So the Asiana lounge was pretty nice. It was especially good when it was a bit emptier. What's with this kind of growing epidemic of people not bothering to use headphones when talking on video calls or watching YouTube? It's happening more and more among grown adults, older dudes mostly. Whereas I kind of thought that was a thing that like teenagers were doing, just to be kind of rebels. But no, it's like 50-something dudes on business travel who just don't care anymore, apparently. So that's kind of alarming. Society is falling apart. But the good news is it should be time to board the Emirates A380 now. Excited to get on board there and see how things are, what the crew's like, and especially to get onto that onboard bar after takeoff. Just looks like a really fun place to hang out. I'm super tired at this point. Really should just go to bed, but you can't do Emirates A380 upper deck without hitting that onboard bar.
This is not how I would outfit my A380 if I were calling the shots, but I do appreciate that you know an Emirates cabin instantly when you see one. And this seat is nice, assuming you can tolerate the colors. Good and private, with plenty of space. Up here you've also got these side storage bins. Hard to complain, really. And so far so good, because there's a glass of champagne here very quickly after sitting down. The one downside so far, this business cabin is big and packed with seats, so when you first step on board, it kind of makes you feel like you're stepping into a massive dormitory.
So my first impression is that unlike many other business classes that you walk into these days, the top ones of the world, coming in here, it felt hectic right off the bat. Most of the cabin had boarded already, and it's like when you turn into the cabin, you're greeted with 50 faces, or whatever the number is. It's a huge cabin, kind of feels packed because it's long, because there's a lot of faces and people getting up, doing things. It doesn't feel like one of these other cabins where you enter into an oasis of calm, and they seem to sort of cultivate that feeling. Here, definitely different, definitely more like, oh, this is a huge room full of people and seats and things and flight attendants, and all cool, all interesting, and definitely a different kind of decor as well. But yeah, curious to see how it feels in flight when people settle down, whether it still feels kind of crowded, or if that was because everybody was kind of getting into their seats, putting away their stuff, and being a bit excited. I think people get excited about Emirates A380, right? Being in business class, it's a bit of a special occasion. It feels festive because of all these colors and special things and little bars at the seat and the wood trim and the gold accents and all that. So, I mean, I'm excited too, despite that hectic initial first impression on boarding. So,
by the way, if you're a TikTok user, why not just open the app right now and follow me? I'll put a link down in the description as well. Don't get too sucked in though. Make sure you just click follow and then put it down and watch this video first. Okay, thanks. Let's lead with some of the good stuff. Emirates' ICE entertainment system is packed full of good things. You will not have a problem finding something to watch on here. And then there's a nice moving map, plus that amazing A380 tail camera that we all love. What else? Did I mention I like this seat pretty much? Nice place to spend 10 hours for sure. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, this would be an excellent time to hit that like button. Maybe even subscribe and leave a comment too if you haven't already. And you can help me out a great deal by telling your friends about the channel too. Doing any of those things is a huge help in getting more people to find the videos here. And I'm getting this request in before I get into the negatives of the flight, so everyone's still in a good mood, happy to press the like button. Okay, thank you very much. I'm gonna stop now. Okay, so how about if we list all the criticisms I have about this flight really quick in a row, so that we don't linger too much on this and get depressed. Sound good? Here goes. Service took forever, maybe because there's just so many passengers, but still. The shrimp dish for dinner was downright gross. The cheesecake dessert was good though, so maybe it balances out a bit. Crew seemed to be going through the motions. They forgot orders and almost never proactively offered things. What's worse, I had a couple of exchanges with flight attendants which were downright awkward and uncomfortable. Not sure what was going on here, but the vibes were way off. The cabin was kept way too hot. And 3.5 minutes of ads play before each thing you watch on the IFE, which is really annoying after the second time or so. But maybe the biggest letdown, the bar. The thing I've been really looking forward to seeing in action. First of all, there was no one there. That's not the airline's fault. This is an overnight flight, fair enough. But when I showed up, it was again quite awkward. This was not a place that anyone would want to hang out. So I took a couple of shots and left dejected. Okay, sorry, I think I'm done complaining, okay? For the record, and I've said this before, but it is worth saying again, I'm not trying to complain here, but rather just point out what wasn't working. The seat in bed mode with this little mattress topper is pretty comfortable. That's good. As a place to hole up and sleep, it's really quite nice. And I love the stars in the ceiling. If I hadn't come into this expecting to have really engaged service and that famously fun Emirates experience, and I just wanted to sleep like most passengers, I might have come away from this a lot more positive. The amenity kit is also packed full of goodies. That's a plus. Oh wait, sorry, I forgot one more bad thing. The fancy window shade got stuck not long into the flight. I wonder how often this happens. They look pretty fragile. Anyway, I get an okay sleep and wake up just after overflying the Himalayas, over Pakistan.
In a few moments, we'll be celebrating descent into Dubai International Airport. We estimate to reach there in around 50 minutes from now.
I think I missed breakfast, but I did manage to awkwardly order an iced Americano and mango juice. which are both fantastic options to have on an in-flight menu. Another positive. And then it's time to land in Dubai, still in darkness, unfortunately. I just think Emirates has a really excellent marketing machine. They offer these superb extras like onboard bars and showers in first class, and they create this halo around the entire brand that is very effective. But if you're like me and you do a lot of trying out premium cabins and a lot of flying in general, and you focus a lot on what works and what doesn't, it's going to probably fall short of all that hype. It's kind of the curse of having such a good brand image. And look, I'm sure with a more motivated and friendly crew, this would have been much better. I would have probably come away positive about the flight overall. So as ever, one flight really isn't enough to judge by. This is just one example, and you should treat it as such. Have you had amazing flights on the Emirates A380? I'd really like to hear about them if so. Let me know in the comments.
Well, that flight was just not very good. Pretty disappointing actually, because Emirates carries this kind of halo, this myth of the great flight with Emirates. I mean, I already knew that was a bit of a myth, as opposed to fully reality because of their hard product, which is not competitive in some cases. The A380 seat is good, but it's certainly not as nice and luxurious and private as some others, especially among Gulf competitors. And then the 777, which I'm getting on next, has middle seats in business class and no direct aisle access, unless you're in an aisle seat properly. But they do have the reputation for good, friendly service, and that wasn't present here. The way they were reminded me a little bit of experiences I've had on mostly US carriers, where the interaction is kind of awkward right off the bat, and I think it's because they're expecting you as the passenger to be an idiot, or to not get it, or to ask for something annoying, to be an annoyance to them. And so they come into it with a bit of like already a kind of, what are you saying, what do you need kind of attitude, instead of a friendly, warm, welcoming attitude. Hopefully the service is better on the next one at least, because I know the seat won't be better. So for now though, thanks for coming along on this one. It's still always fun to fly an A380, and I, of course, am always grateful to be able to fly in a lie flat bed and get some sleep, get any sleep at all. So from Dubai, I'm Gabe Lee. Thanks for coming along.